Welcome to another episode of Pit Lane Parley.
Welcome to the Pit Lane Parley Experience with Harding Steinbrenner Racing Mid-Ohio edition. First couple minutes, we're actually joined by the gentleman from the Dogs to Dog Tag program, placing rescue dogs with veterans around the country. So I'm going to just let everybody introduce themselves real quick, a couple questions, and then how you can donate.
Brian Jordan, U.S. Navy for 7 years.
Tori Willitson, DOD contractor for explosive IDD dogs, Wisconsin.
Chris Van Etten, Marine Corps, 4 years.
All right, so first off, thank you all for your service. It's a great great to meet you guys, and really a great program. When I was listening to the press conference before, I knew right away I wanted to talk to you guys when we do our weekly chat with the Harding guys. First off, how did the program start? What gave you the idea to start this program?
So Chris and I met when he was a dog handler for the 7th Marines, and I had trained their bomb dogs, and I was their field service representative. And we went through the whole training program and then deployed to Afghanistan. And Chris, unfortunately, ran into an IDD while he was on patrol. And everything that happened after that was about trying to get his dog Harley to him, and that then spawned wanting to rescue animals and get them to the rest of the guys that are coming home from or suffer from PTSD. So it's kind of a two-phase program. We rescue dogs and get them to veterans suffering from war.
Awesome, great program, and my wife and I rescued our dog as well. I think rescuing dogs in any facet is a great thing to do. Let me pull up my next question here. Is there a type of dog that you guys typically prefer, or are you pretty much open to any dog, big or small?
It's more about the disposition of the dog. We've placed pit bulls, we've placed pit lab mixes, Labradors. We just placed an English bulldog that was a donated dog to us. I'm going to be actually working on a little mixture. He's like a Chihuahua something mixture with one eye, named Charles. He's coming from the Fond du Lac Humane Society in Wisconsin, going to Vietnam veteran after we get done. So it really depends upon the animal.
Maybe especially on Sunday.
Great. Sorry, there's a lot of noise around here right now. So from a veteran's perspective, what makes an emotional support dog so important on a day-to-day basis?
Well, just on a day-to-day basis, it's just kind of a reminder of why you're still here. Like when I was kind of in my low points in life, it would be Harley, this dog who had been with me through Afghanistan, through a whole bunch of things, knowing that she was relying on me, that sense of responsibility for this living creature. If nothing else, that was a motivation to keep going. And so I think a lot of veterans, especially veterans who are struggling to find a purpose, a dog gives them that purpose.
For me, I think it's just there's no particular disposition that we look for. It's that bond that a dog forms with the person that they're given to. It's always a special bond. It's always a lasting bond. You can't just place any dog with any particular person. Tori does a really good job at placing the dogs with who he thinks, evaluating the dogs. knowing the veterans themselves and placing the dog, a particular dog, with that particular veteran.
It's almost like a dating service. Almost, it's like I remember.
I forgot about that.
in K2, and this is how I describe it to my friends. It's like when we went into the training program in the military, they have you fill out kind of like a questionnaire on your personality.
I remember
and
that.
so we always joke around that it's a dating service, and you fill out what your personality is like, and you get matched up with a dog that's very similar. Yeah. So it's a fun way to think about it. It's like a weird dating service for veterans to be paired with the loves of their life, their dogs of their life, if you will.
So that probably answered my my next question is how does the process from your side work? So it's simply like filling out a questionnaire like, hey, this is what I like to do, this is my personality, and the dog, then your job is to come in and find the perfect match.
Well, what we kind of do is it's a real synergistic kind of thing. We're always looking for dogs. We're always getting guys, and as we meet the guys and we hear more about their family and their lifestyle, we have some dogs that are out there already, and we kind of go, this could be a good match. This dog's got a lot of energy. This guy likes to be outside and do a lot of stuff. Let's see how that works. Or this dog is more on a mellow side, and the guy's more of a, not stay at home, but, isn't as active outside as someone else might be. So we just kind of look at the personalities of the dog and the guy and just, put them together. Like Brian here, we met training bomb dogs for the military, and he comes from a military background. So he's one of our remote trainers. I know he's good at training dogs. I've worked with him. So he is an affiliate dog trainer for Dogs to Dog Tags, but he also has his own training facility called Paws of Pride in just outside of Cleveland. So it's great to have guys that you've worked with and are good at doing the job to be involved with it, especially being on the East Coast. So we start placing dogs in Ohio or in New York. He's there as a support mechanism if they have any questions, because I'm in Wisconsin. So he's 2 hours from someone, he's going to go check them out. And to have Paws of Pride involved with what we're doing, it's awesome to be in a situation where we've got people that we trust to be involved everywhere in the country.
I love it. I'll wrap it up with one final question here, and to everybody listening, there is a text to donate link. I'll provide it in the show notes and on social media, so you guys don't have to rewind and listen to get it. But is there anything else everybody out there listening can do, whether it be donate dog toys or dog supplies or anything like that?
Any kind of donations are good for us. Right now we're on a capital campaign, and we're asking people to donate what they can so we can actually build our brick and mortar facility. Like you said, he'll give you some information on the text to donate, website, Facebook, Instagram. Thank you guys for being a part of his podcast, and thank you for letting us be here, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys for everything you've done. Again, it's Dogs to Dog Tags. That's the Facebook, Instagram, social media. The website is dogstodogtags.com. Check it out. .org. I'm sorry. And we'll talk to you guys again.
What one you got?
Second part of the episode now. We are joined by Davey Hamilton. Davey, you had a pretty awesome career. Got to drive some different cars and some different experiences. What were some of the your favorite career highlights when you're looking back on the driving side of things?
For sure, where it all started from is Super Modifieds and the Trigueiro Brothers Super Modified, winning the first Copper World Classic out in Phoenix. Because that was, those cars back in the day, we would have qualified middle row of the Indycar race. So that gave you a lot of confidence that you had a chance, or you could maybe do Indycar because your speed was close. So that was for sure the biggest highlight. The second one that I know is just my first day on Indy, the first lap around the track. It was like you're in non-belief that you're actually as a kid dreaming that you actually were able to make a lap around that place. And then after the first lap, I'm trying to suck in what it meant just to go around that place, and I thought, well, I better get to work here, right? I mean, I better quit daydreaming around, and I was so appreciative of that opportunity. And so those were the two probably that stick out the most. Well, I'll tell you, the third one was my comeback after the accident. After the long time out of the game, and with all the injuries I went through, not knowing if I'd ever do it again. That was the emotion. There was the emotion. The first two was pure joy and happiness. The emotion of that one was obviously the same, with a lot of tears.
Sure.
Sure.
What is your exact role with Harding Steinbrenner? What are you doing on a weekend basis, and how did it all begin? With Harding Steinbrenner.
So it really all began. I met Mike last year sometime, and we just started talking. I was actually working with Colton Racing, and great team over there, and I was having a lot of fun with those guys. And this opened just another opportunity for me, for one, to be at Indy. Where Colton was in Florida. Like I say, I couldn't just be hands-on with those guys. Right. Great team, just couldn't be hands-on. So this opportunity, I could be at the shop every day. And now as a consultant, basically, it covers a little bit of everything. I'm working on trying to help find funding for the team. I'm working with the guys on the crew, making sure that everything's going smooth there, what we need to go to the next level. And then just what experience I have from a previous driver, a previous owner, anything I can do to help Colton. And obviously all the other things that I've played in between. Just trying to get this team obviously we're to a good level because we want to race and win a pole. But we want to be more consistent, and we want to be more of a week-to-week threat. So long ways to go, but with a new driver, new team, I think we're doing a good job.
Yeah, so that kind of leads into my next question. Partially, you may have already answered it. Leading into the season, what were your expectations for the team versus now, where you have Colton, into Fast Six or near the Fast Six almost every week, won a race, won a pole. Started, had a great starting position at Indy until the unfortunate, failure there. Yeah. Had the expectations grown already, 12, 13 races into the first season?
Yeah, because if we talked before the season started, I'm going to tell you that our goal would be just to try to poke in the top 10s as many times as possible. Now, knowing that we're a contender, it's all about working on getting Colton Rookie of the Year, number one. Number two is just win races. At this point, we're not in the championship contention. We're out of the game for that. So it really doesn't matter where we finish in the championship. I just want to win races, and knowing that we can. But that's pretty encouraging, right? First year, just going, hey, let's finish in the top 10 and be consistent, to saying, hey guys, we can beat these guys, and we have a great driver and a great team to do it.
So we're at Mid-Ohio this weekend. Beautiful weather. Which I am very happy about, that it's not like Iowa last weekend.
Yeah, everybody's happy.
Colton qualified 7th, was 3rd this morning in the final warm-up, or this afternoon in final warm-up. Does he have a winning car from starting 7th?
So, we have a winning car, and as last year Rossi pretty much dominated this place from the front row. We've seen guys win it from the back row. We've seen a lot of things happen at Mid-Ohio, and one thing with the pit windows here, they're so large and there's so many different strategies, you just don't know. It's that lucky break if the yellow comes out at the right time for you. But right now, I feel we have decent speed. Obviously, there's 6 guys in front of us that qualified faster, so that means they're faster. But hopefully our strategy is better than theirs, and we just have a better day. So hard to win here, hard to pass. There's only 3 passing zones, only 2 real good ones, and that's going into 4 and going into 2. So it's going to be a tough day, long day, but I do feel that we have a podium in us. I think a win is going to be very difficult for us, because knowing Power and Rossi's on the front row, and it's those 2 teams, not the individual, Rossi individually, and then Penske as a team running for a championship. They're gonna be fighting up there.
What's looking at the overall season been the biggest surprise to you with the team or with Colton?
Well, I think with the team, I think the biggest surprise is how good of guys we have. You watch our pit stops now, and we're getting it done with all the guys. Now, have we made some mistakes? Absolutely, but I've seen other teams make mistakes. But I'm just impressed with the speed and the consistency that the crew has. And on Colton's side, man, I thought I was going to have – a lot of times you work with young kids, and you're trying to say, well, you might try this line, or, you might try that entry, or you might try to get on – he's so fast, you don't have to tell him any of that. The only thing that we work with Colton is things that he hasn't done yet. And that's race ethic. He hasn't made the pit stops yet. He hasn't had the long races. He's better and better. But I think if we could help him anywhere, it's there. But back to the question, the surprising part is just how good he is.
I love it. Two non-kind of Harding-related questions for you, and we'll wrap things up. Again, thanks for a little bit of time right before the race starts. IndyCar introduced the prototype for the windscreen or aero screen. What are your thoughts on that? After being in a pretty big accident yourself, many years ago.
I love anything safety. I love it. The safer you make these cars, the better for all of us. We're all friends, and after going through what I went through, I don't want anybody else to get hurt or go through anything. I have my questions on the windshield side of it, and the halo. It's been proven in Formula One and other forms of racing. I really like that. The windscreen, I'm a little nervous about. I put a windscreen on like that myself back in the super modified days. Yeah. And at the end of a 25-lap race at Phoenix, I couldn't see through it because there's so much rubber and debris on it. I worry about that. I worry about rain. When you have rain on your windshield of your car and it's out away from you and you don't have wipers, it's hard to see through it. But a shield that's close to your eye, you can see through it better. So I'm worried about that on a rain situation. Just for example, put a helmet on and go out in the rain and see how good you can see, and then when it's raining next time in your car, don't turn the windshield wipers on, see how good you can see. It's a whole different element. So I think there's some things that hopefully they're talking to. They haven't talked to me, but I'm not a current driver. So hopefully they're talking to other current drivers and other people that can and throw these things at them, because those two things just in itself, I worry about the windscreen. I went and sat in the car the other day. I have no problem with the vision of it, the getting in and getting out. With the windscreen, I do say another thing with the windscreen, to get buckled in, because we have to be buckled in. We can't do it ourselves. With the windscreen, we're going to have to get some ex-NBA players to reach down in there and get us, because we're going to have to be super tall. But I'm not throwing down on it at all. Sure. I just have questions on the windscreen part. I love the halo, though.
That's fair. Lastly, the championship battle at the top is we'll say between Newgarden, Rossi, and Pagenaud, most likely. Obviously, Scott Dixon can pull something out like he always seems to do. But if you're going to pick a championship winner today and tell all the Pit Lane Parley listeners who to bet money on, who are you betting money on?
Wow, that's a tough one, because they're all my friends. I like all those guys, so I don't want to go against any of them. And obviously, Simon's my former driver, right? Yeah. Proud of that guy. I'm proud what we're able to do together. So obviously, he's a favorite of mine. Man, Rossi and Newgarden are on fire. Another thing I'll just say, I will never, ever, ever bet against Dixon in anything except maybe figure skating. I'm not sure even on that. So I'll never bet against that guy. He's outstanding. He's proved time and time again what a champion he is. But if I had to just throw the dice and gamble on something, I'm not going to pick one, but it's definitely between Newgarden and Rossi. Those two guys are on fire right now, week in, week out. They seem to impress everybody. So if I'm one of them, I want to be Newgarden because he's leading, I guess. Sure. If I'm one of those guys.
He's got the wins tiebreaker, which helps.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you very much for joining me today, and best of luck the rest of the year.
All right, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.